using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah,
but like his core personality and his way.
If the opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But
Floyd, yeah, because
Terence Crawford has now answered Floyd Mayweather's call for a fight in 2026, and his reply was encouraging as he is ready to decide who truly stands as the best of the two. Mayweather is more than 10 years older, yet he was the one who pushed for the match after becoming upset by boxing fans constantly comparing his career to Crawford's online publicly.
Everybody played the part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
What do you want to...
After his victory, Crawford spoke in an interview where he was asked about fans pushing for him to face Floyd since Floyd has also shown interest in the matchup. Crawford said that if Floyd wants to fight him, it would bring big money and give him a chance to share the ring with one of the all-time greats, and because of that, he is fully open to it.
When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands.
Mayweather felt pushed to challenge Crawford not only because fans kept asking for it, but also because two fighters he once faced have said that Crawford is better than him, which came across as a major insult to his legacy. Along with Canelo's Shane Mosley, who was beaten by Mayweather on points 15 years ago, also shared the same opinion about Crawford.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually, he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter.
While talking with Fight Hub TV, Mosley made a bold statement saying he believes Bud Crawford is actually better than Mayweather, although he still praised his former rival and called him highly skilled. Mosley said Crawford is stronger and larger and is moving up in weight, which shows his ability and overall skill set, making him a more complete fighter. He added that Mayweather was also great and very talented and deserves respect. Mosley explained that it would have been a difficult matchup, but he feels Crawford would have had the advantage because of his size and longer reach.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Fans and experts across the world have already started arguing about whether Bud can now be seen as the greatest fighter ever after beating Canelo. It was a massive win that pushed the 37-year-old back to the top of the pound-for-pound rankings once again. Canelo had shared this view before the fight, and after losing he repeated it clearly by saying Crawford was the better fighter. Canelo Alvarez caused strong reactions during his post-fight press conference when he openly stated that Terence Crawford is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather. He said that Crawford is far better than Floyd Mayweather while speaking to the media after the bout.
You know, how did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, you know, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best.
He was ready for the body shots. You know, occasionally the straight right hand to the body would land for Canelo. But, you know, sooner or later, Crawford started getting out of the way of that as well by just pivoting, you know, on the angle and, you know, making Canelo reach. There were spots inside the ring that I saw Crawford, you know, try to counter.
This comment matters even more because it came from someone who has fought and lost to both Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. Canelo's decision to say this right after a defeat shows strong respect for the sport or a true belief that the unbeaten Crawford is the better fighter. His words quickly caused debate across the boxing world. Some fans praised Crawford for moving through different weight classes and taking on top-level opponents, while others defended Mayweather's flawless record and long list of achievements. Terence Crawford later explained that Canelo's opinion carries weight because he has shared the ring with both fighters. While speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Crawford said that Canelo fought them both, and people can argue all they want, but Canelo has real experience facing each of them.
You know, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is is the best fighter, you know, in his era. And I felt
In the end, this argument will never fully stop because it is based on personal opinion. What is clear is that both fighters remain unbeaten at least for now in Crawford's case, and each held championships across multiple weight divisions. They are both expected to be remembered as two of the greatest American boxers in the long history of the sport. Still, there is a strong discussion around how each man built his undefeated record over time. This specific topic was raised by active fighter Ryan Garcia. He shared his view during a segment on Ring Magazine's Inside the Ring show that aired on September 10th.
It's the game like Floyd Mayweather.
He mastered the art of knowing when to fight somebody and when not to fight somebody. I mean, that he's the best in that game. He's the best in, making money and making all the, the huge fights happen. But why? Because he was timing every single one of them. He never fought nobody really in their prime. He always
After junior lightweight. Junior lightweight,
he changed the game in the worst way possible. You're right. Everybody's trying to protect their own. I had
a lot of the stuff that Canelo was doing. And, that I would say this, that work from Boots helped in that aspect because Canelo was reacting to a lot of the counters that Crawford was throwing. Usually in the past, Canelo would stand right there. He would lunge and he would stay in place, keep his feet in place. However, Canelo...
He explained that this view came up during a discussion about why Max Kellerman believes Manny Pacquiao should rank higher than Mayweather on the pound-for-pound list for this century after ESPN placed Floyd first and Pacquiao second. He also reacted to comments made earlier this month by former NFL player LaShawn McCoy, who said that no one changed boxing like Floyd Mayweather. Garcia pushed back by saying the change was not a good one. He said Mayweather became the best at choosing the right moments to fight and the right moments to avoid certain opponents. Garcia admitted Floyd was great at making money and setting up massive fights, but said this happened because he carefully timed every matchup. He argued that Mayweather rarely faced opponents at their peak, especially after the junior lightweight stage, and because of that, he feels Floyd influenced boxing in a negative way by starting the trend of fighters protecting their undefeated records.
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring them. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight.
Crawford's latest achievements have made many people rethink the usual ranking of great fighters. The timing of this debate feels perfect because Crawford is performing at his very best while still competing against top-level opponents. Max Kellerman used his many years of boxing knowledge when talking about the Crawford versus Mayweather discussion on Inside the Ring. The experienced analyst pointed out that Mayweather does have some clear advantages over Crawford, especially when it comes to the depth of his career resume, his defensive ability, and his hand speed. These qualities are real strengths, and they played a major role in making Mayweather one of the most dominant champions the sport has ever seen.
I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with...
Kellerman noted that after moving beyond the lightweight division, Mayweather became much more selective about who he fought. He argued that Floyd carefully chose the timing of matches against tough opponents. This strategy kept his undefeated record intact, but also raised doubts about whether he was willing to face every top fighter at their peak. In contrast, Kellerman highlighted Crawford's clear readiness to take on anyone at any point in his career, a mindset that seems to earn him extra respect from fans and fellow boxers alike.
I had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who would win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd would win that fight.
Yes, sir. I
Floyd
love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah. Kellerman explained that Floyd's career record is much more extensive than Crawford's, and that he was faster with stronger defensive skills. But once he moved past lightweight, he became cautious about choosing opponents. Crawford, on the other hand, even if his resume is smaller in some ways, has consistently been willing to face anyone at any time, and that matters to people. The analyst also made interesting comparisons between Crawford and boxing legends like Sugar Ray Robinson and Roy Jones Jr. He suggested that Crawford has earned a level of respect from fellow fighters that goes beyond stats and win-loss records. Even though fans often compare Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, Bud has made it clear that he won't take away any of Mayweather's well-earned accolades. Terence Crawford has a lot of respect for Floyd, and when asked about their similarities, he shared his thoughts. He simply called him the king, praising and recognizing Floyd's greatness.
Excuse me, Crawford.
You know, right now, but earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know, it just depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. If you talk about money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy.
He went on to say that they share some similarities but also have key differences, mainly that he takes more risks in the ring. Early in Floyd's career, he also took many chances, but it depends on which version of Floyd you're referring to. If you mean Money or Pretty Boy was the aggressive fighter seeking to dominate. Later on, Floyd faced hand injuries, which made it harder to maintain the same power as he moved up in weight and faced bigger opponents.
He's going to reach from the left hooks again. He's a lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him, and then he hit his head off it en masse here at the engine.
As Crawford mentioned, they share many similarities, but fans and analysts have long debated who is the better fighter. One recent source even suggested that Crawford would likely come out on top if the two ever faced each other. When it comes to pure boxing skill, few can match Floyd Mayweather Jr. His sharp jab, precise timing, and expert counterpunching allowed him to systematically break down his opponents, and he did it while evolving through two different phases of his career.
He drops him again. That's a hard knockdown that time with the left hook. How about that? Keeps battling, falling forward. Uppercut. Terence Crawford has stopped Yurioka.
Crawford has acknowledged that they have a lot in common, yet fans and experts continue to argue over who is the superior fighter. A recent report even suggested that Crawford would likely have the edge if they were to meet in the ring. In terms of pure boxing talent, very few can rival Floyd Mayweather Jr. His precise jab, perfect timing, and masterful counterpunching let him dismantle opponents methodically, and he managed to do it while adapting through two distinct stages of his career. Whether it was the powerful jab that kept breaking through Spence's guard, punching in tight spaces, or the timing of his counters, Bud showed top-level boxing skill. It wasn't the first time he displayed this, but never against an opponent of Spence's quality. When it comes to pure skill, few could challenge Mayweather's mastery. Yet Crawford's style is different, highly effective, and even explosive in its own way. So if Crawford faced Mayweather in his prime, using his precise shots against Floyd's disciplined technique, who would control the jab first? Who would land the sharper counters? There are so many possibilities that it might be fair to call this matchup a tie in terms of pure boxing ability.
I had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terrence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah. How many times have we seen Mayweather draw his opponents to the center of the ring, study them carefully, and create a plan to break them down? He used his incredible ring intelligence and the simple mantra of hit without getting hit to become an undefeated 5-division world champion and secure his place in the Hall of Fame. Crawford, now undisputed at both junior welterweight and welterweight, has also shown exceptional ring IQ throughout his career, proving he can think and adapt at the highest level.
You hook, you want to change you want to hook from the hips. So when you hook, boom, this toe gonna go up and this one gonna go down. So you here and it's gonna go boom. So you can do a 45 or you can do straight. You come straight from the shoulders, boom. Open it up a little bit, bam. But get that, there you go. So, yeah, so you want to come, everything you do, you want to come from the shoulders, boom. Just turn it. When you coming in there, you hear, boom. And that's where that torque gonna come from. The hips, your legs, all the way up in there.
Mayweather showed incredible hand speed, particularly with his counterpunching, but Crawford's sharp angles and snapping punches give him the edge in overall speed. Of Mayweather's 50 victories, 27 were knockouts, compared to Crawford's 40 wins with 31 coming by knockout, and he's still active. Then there's Crawford's masterful performance against Spence, dropping him 3 times on the way to a commanding 9th round TKO.
The talented fighter, and that challenge for him pushed him even harder to train harder and to be better. That challenge, went up against Canelo, moving up 2 divisions, hearing that people are saying, oh, he didn't look too good against Madrimov, so how could he look good at 68? Well, that motivated more, man. He trained hard. He did what he...
Taking down a power puncher like Spence, who had methodically beaten fighters like Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yadenis Ugas to claim the unified welterweight title, was no easy task. Yet Crawford made it look effortless, with his power playing a huge role. Mayweather, on the other hand, perfected defensive boxing, leaning into the Philly shell, using his arm to absorb punches while setting up counters with his free hand, turning defense into offense like few ever have. Crawford has slick defensive skills too, but Mayweather elevated it to near perfection.
Look at this defense. Unbelievable. Young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong. If you're wearing, then he's nowhere. You think you... And again, it's not just hand quickness, it's the movement of the head. The way he rolls with punches. Look at the way he makes it miss. I mean, here we go. Do a series of punches and nothing really landed. Terrific fighter. For Mayweather. All right.
So how might a fight between Crawford and a prime Mayweather actually play out, and who would come out on top? In a tense first round, both fighters would likely feel each other out, testing their timing and range. Crawford would be the busier fighter early, throwing and landing combinations, even if many are absorbed by Mayweather's shoulder and elbow. By the middle rounds, Mayweather's style would begin to take over, using precise jabs to control the pace and secure some of the rounds on points.
Where does Canelo go from here, Henry?
He needs to rematch. If I'm Canelo, I want to rematch Terence Crawford. He got schooled, bro. He got outboxed, dude, by Terence Crawford. And I know that he's itching to get that one back. The first time he fought Triple G, he came back the second time, and he legit beat Triple G.
Once in a lifetime fight. It doesn't need to be a rematch. I think Bud would do worse the next fight.
Yet with constant pressure, Crawford's power could find its way through Mayweather's defense and even land hard enough to hurt the legend at times. In a matchup this close, Crawford's skill and sharp punches might be enough for judges to favor him based on his pressure and volume, potentially giving him a points victory over Mayweather's more precise style. While Terence Crawford stayed humble after his career-defining win over Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed title, the boxing world isn't ready to let the debates about his place in history fade anytime soon.
Work on what you need to work on. Put your head down and grind. You get results like this.
I noticed that when I was watching the fight that Terence Crawford specifically, whichever side that Canelo threw at him, Terence would respond with a shot from that side as well. Did you see that in the tape that you watched of Canelo as a weakness, where he was vulnerable to shots at the same side that he threw?
Well, if you go back and look at the fight, you can hear us in the corner saying, when he go wide,
He delivered a performance that many believe could settle the debate over who is the top boxer of the post-Mayweather and Pacquiao era. Crawford seemed to achieve just that, with respect to Alexander Usyk and Naoya Inoue, by becoming only the 6th male fighter to win titles in 5 weight divisions and the first in the 4-belt era to become undisputed champion in 3 of them. This weekend's victory over Alvarez, boxing's biggest star of the last decade and pound-for-pound king as recently as 2022, not only boosted Crawford's financial standing, but, more importantly, elevated his legacy to a new level.
On Canelo a little worse than that, because that style of fight, I don't think he beats someone like Terence Crawford. But if I'm Terence Crawford, of course I'll fight him again. But this time, I'm the A side. I think Terence Crawford is going to be more confident next time, knowing that I can punch with this guy. I can take his shot. I'm faster.
He fought Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
He didn't do what the last two did, just run.
But when asked if he had matched Mayweather's achievements, Crawford avoided the comparison entirely. Floyd was the greatest of his era, and I'm the greatest of mine, Crawford said at the post-fight press conference. There's no need to compare. The discussion, however, grew more intense about 15 minutes later when Alvarez, who showed nothing but respect for Crawford in defeat, was asked which fighter he thought was better, especially considering Alvarez, then 23, had suffered his first professional loss to a 36-year-old Mayweather back in 2013.